This is a how to play for my dice game, How Close Can You Get? The object of this game is for both players to use a pair of dice and some arithmetic to try and bring their combined total as close as possible to a given number without being the one to cause the total to go over that number. Players begin by establishing a winning number. Let's say they choose 21. To determine who will go first, each player will roll the dice once to see who gets the highest number. Here goes player 1. That's a 9. And player 2. That's a 10. So player 2 goes first. Player 2 will then take the first turn and roll the dice. So that's a 5 and a 3. They may now choose to either add, subtract, multiply, or divide these two numbers. The result may include decimals, rounded to the nearest tenth, but it cannot include a negative number. Let's assume they choose to multiply and end up with the number 15. This is now the total for both players. Player 1 will then take their turn and roll the dice. It's a 5 and a 4. If player 1 chooses to add these numbers, they'll end up with a 9, which added to 15 will bring them to a 24, which is above the 21 limit. Player 1 would lose in this case. So instead, player 1 could choose to subtract 5 minus 4 and get a 1. Now the total is 16. So player 2 takes another turn. It's a 6 and a 4. The best option is probably to subtract 4 from 6 and get a 2. This brings the total up to 18. Then player 1 takes another turn. It's a 3 and a 1. In this case, the best option would be to multiply 1 times 3. Player 1 would win because he would land exactly on 21. Other combinations are also possible. For example, if say we were at the number 20 and another player rolled a 3 and a 5, their best option would probably be to actually divide 3 divided by 5. This would give them a 0.6, bringing the total up to 20.6, not quite going over 21. The other player would surely have a hard time rolling a number that could stay below 21 at this point. So to sum up, the game ends whenever one player has no choice but to go over 21 with the given numbers and options of either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing.